Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, interchangeable. And today, you can see I'm not in my living room. I am not in my living room. I'm staying with Sally, the fabulous Sally, who really, in my opinion, is the queen of Ragusa di Marina. Yeah, so there's a marine, there's a little marina. We've got the sea over there. Look, I'll just turn the camera quickly. There you are. Look at this. I'm having a wonderful time, and the sea is over there. And let's put the camera back. So look, there is lots of, and I'm in Sicily, just in case anyone wasn't sure where I was. So I leave tomorrow actually, and then I'll be going to Rome, and then after Rome I'll be going to Bologna, somewhere I've not been in Italy before, and then I will go up to Turin or Torino, and it's going to be Eurovision there as well, which is this bonkers crazy competition that we have in Europe. So if I can get some footage of that. I don't have tickets for the event, but you know, Italy won last year, and whichever country wins, they host, so they will be hosting. So that's a little bit of the spiel on there. So I'm hoping to produce quite a relatively quick show today, and I'm just going to focus on 3 topics. Because you can imagine I'm out of the news. I've not been able to consume nearly as much news as I would normally do, which has been great actually. It's been so relaxing. But what I want to look at is Roe versus Wade. Yeah, how can I not discuss that? Roe versus Wade, Duck Laurange and Georgia, and of course Putinshka. Yeah, Putinshka. And we'll finish off with him. So first of all, now remember I said this, it's probably less than a week ago now, but do you remember I was talking about the eclipses? And I said the solar eclipses deal with leadership, yeah? Leaders all around the world. You remember I said we're going to be hearing all sorts of news about leaders from all around the world. Now it's happening in Aries. These eclipses are happening in sidereal Aries, sidereal Libra. I don't want to repeat myself too much. Just watch that eclipse video. But the point is, anyone that is Aries ascendant or Libra ascendant, which is what Putin is, this is where the most action is happening for the next 18 months. And do you remember I said it's going to deal with consequences of all kinds, new things being birthed, and I was given the analogy of the womb and the old lining being removed. And all of that kind of stuff. So there's going to be things to do with breakthroughs, etc. But I also said as well that Aries is what? War. We could see escalations in war and stuff like that. Now that is more of course relevant to Putin. But the most obvious one now, the nakshatra. So Aries is made up of let's say 3 nakshatras. It's not a full 3. First one is Ashwini, which is about speed. It's about horses, the physician of the gods, eyesight, etc., beauty. The last part, or the third part, is Kritika, which is about cutting, slicing, intellect, etc., and it goes over into Taurus. The middle part, where it's completely contained, where this first solar eclipse happened, is in Bharani. And the symbol of Bharani is what? The yoni, the female reproductive system. Remember, so if you look back at that eclipse video, I'll try and put it in the playlist, maybe directly next. And you can see how this is playing out as a theme already in regards to what? Roe versus Wade. So what have I written here? I've put here Roe versus Wade in my notes, because you know I've got to make my notes. Roe versus Wade, Supreme Court votes to overturn abortion rights. We hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled. Justice Alito writes. Justice Alito, yeah? And then here I was talking about the energies of Bharani. And we also need to remember as well, Pluto. America is having its what? Its Pluto return, which of course every astrologer in some shape or form has been discussing, has been talking about. But what we need to understand, this is very important to understand, in Vedic astrology, of course, everything we follow the stars, so everything moves backwards. And I said in much earlier videos, I said when Pluto enters sidereal Capricorn, we're going to see all sorts of changes in rules, regulations, things to do with the government, scandals, things being dredged up out of the dark. Pluto is all about power and control. Capricorn is about rules and regulations. Look what has been happening all over that time. Now, when Saturn moved in to sidereal Capricorn, which is his own sign, in I think it was around the 30th of January 2020, something like that. We all know what happened next. Following year, Pluto moves in. This escalation. Pluto is about power, control, seediness, scandals, but also about transformation. So we've got these very powerful energies at play at the moment. And Pluto is about control. These eclipses are about the yoni, the female reproductive system, Bharani. Look at that. Remember what I said? Eclipses can be shocks and surprises, unusual things, but it can also be a reset. And I think I said, eclipses are like switching the computer on and off again to reset something. So now the sun, which deals with all forms of leadership, so of course it also deals with high office, government, the law, stuff like that, rules, regulations, structures, because Saturn, even though he deals specifically with that, is considered the son of the sun. The sun is the original organizing principle, structuring force. This is why whenever you look at the sun in a person's chart, you can see the structure of their life, their thoughts, their body even, their vitality. So we can see the Supreme Court has done what? It's done a reset. It's pushed the reset button, literally in regards to the female reproductive system, which is Bharani. Do you see how it all ties up? These are the things that we look at in Vedic astrology, because one has to see how the narrative will play out. Because Aries is to initiate things, but to change things, to make changes. Bharani, the shadow side of Bharani is punishment, consequences. So it's almost like women are being punished for having those freedoms in the past, and now they're wanting to overturn that, to reset that to a time before that existed. I think the Roe versus Wade was the 1973 when I was just looking. So do you see, unfortunately, how these energies have played out? But the theme couldn't be more accurate, could it? It's very specific. Bharani is about the female reproductive system. And in my solar eclipse video, I said it's almost like the whole world is kind of going through a spiritual, emotional, psychological menstruation in a way. And this is the cramping. This is like, people are going to have to fight. Because this is a major step backwards. So I'm going to see what Shakespeare says on this one before as we know, the Bard's Guide to Abuses and Affronts, because of course, and we're talking about the Supreme Court here, so I'm just going to close my eyes and let's see what Shakespeare has to say about this before I pull some cards. Let's stop here. Now, isn't this interesting? That's what it says here. I was searching for a fool when I found you. One more time. I was searching for a fool when I found you. And that's from the play As You Like It. So this decision that the courts have made is immensely foolish. But not only that, it's irresponsible. Think about how important it is for women to be able to control their own bodies. Not every woman wants to be pregnant. A woman may need to terminate a pregnancy for so many reasons. What about if it's sexual assault or incest or, something like that? Or it's going to be detrimental to the health of the mother. Sometimes that happens as well, where pregnancy is actually very dangerous. Or maybe it's just not financially viable, or the person's too young. What if you're 12, 13? Do you know what I mean? It's the knock-on effects of this is just astronomical. So here we are, one more time. I was searching for a fool when I found you, from As You Like It. So we see here, you know, I know other people have had different opinions on, and some people have said Roe v. Wade will stay intact, whatever. I've just been keeping my counsel and quite literally my cards close to my chest, because I always felt it was under threat because of the energies at play. Pluto, Saturn, that dynamic together, it's kind of, that's got a lot to do with power and control, wanting to control people. Think as well of all of the restrictions, rules, regulations. Now, Saturn has actually just gone into sidereal Aquarius, and he's going to stay there until about, I think it's about the 14th of July. And he's going to go, because he's going to be retrograding, yeah? So he enters sidereal Capricorn, but in the roundabout between 14th of July. But the retrograde process starts in June. So could it be now, retrograde is what? About reviews, yeah? And government, Saturn deals with government, etc. So could it be that there's such a furore, or there's such an uproar, or so many negative things happen that may have to be looked at again? However, this, in terms of maybe reversing what the court said, but this is the Supreme Court. Yeah, this is the Supreme Court. So I'm not sure what it's going to take for women to be able to win their rights back on this one, but it's probably going to take a Herculean effort. So Aries is also about protest as well. It's about youth. It's about going out into the streets. It's about conflict. It's about anger. It's about aggression. It's also about sport, but it's also about bursting free, wanting to break free of restrictions, particularly. So I would imagine that there'll be quite a backlash against this ruling. And let's see what the cards have to say in regards to the Supreme Court. Yeah, I'm going to pull 5 cards, and so let's see here. Stay over, wanting to control women's reproductives. Yeah, so Pluto wanting to control, yeah, power, control, wanting to control women's reproductive systems. Barani. Don Shakespeare says, let's just see. Okay, so let's see. What does this mean? Spirit, if you can just tell us, what's the energy around this decision of Roe v. Wade? Oh, card. Okay, that wanted to jump out. Look at that. This is so interesting. All right, let's pull. I'm going to pull 4 more. You can probably hear the collar doves in the background. And they sometimes make this kind of squawky kind of sound, like... They look beautiful, but sometimes the sound that comes out of them is a bit dodgy. I'll have to get rid of that. That's the thingy bob cards, which is part of the pack. So let's pull another one. But it's so peaceful. I've been able to truly relax, I must say. So I'm so grateful, Sally. I really appreciate it. It's been wonderful. Okay, let's see what we got here. So we've got... look at this. Wow. This is very interesting. Okay, so if we look here, first card. 4 of Pentacles. What's that all about? Holding on. Yeah? This is about holding on. This is about... I mean, look, first of all, it can deal with money. Yeah? It can deal with money. So this can be a person who's being frugal, being prudent, wanting to hold on what they have, not squander their resources. Yeah? However, but this is also about control. You see how tightly he's holding on to those things. So this can be to preserve things, trying to keep something under control. Yeah. So if we think here of Roe versus Wade, you know, there is this element here. And it could also suggest as well, there could even been some money exchanging hands, or about controlling the money in some way. But when we see the obstacle card, so this is the 4 of Pentacles. When we see the obstacle card, look, it's the Queen of Swords, but reversed. How interesting is that? The King and Queen of Swords deal with legalities. Yeah, they deal with the courts. decisions made in courts, etc. And isn't it interesting that it is the Queen of Swords, so it's female, but look, it's in reverse, which means a cruel, harsh decision, which has sort of been made against what? Women, yeah? So we can see, quite literally, it's come out reversed. So when it's reversed, it can mean cruelty, spite, yeah? So the courts have made really quite a cruel and spiteful decision, because there wasn't an issue about this. Do you know what I mean? This wasn't an issue. Women have not been saying, please take away our abortion rights. Why? Yeah, because it's all about this. It's all about the control. See, it's all about the control. Here, this is almost like the patriarchy. Look, male card here. Traditions, you know, wanting to control things, going against a decision against women that is spiteful and spiteful. And then when we look here, the next card, the Magician card, which again is about what? The shadow of the Magician can be manipulation. Wanting to, you know, using all of your skills, using all your powers, but for nefarious means as well. It hasn't come out reverse, but this shows as well there's a lot of, with the Magician and it also being a major arcana card, there's a lot of people here that are very invested in these outcomes. Again, if we think in terms of patriarchy, there's a lot of men there that want women to be what? Barefoot and pregnant, yeah? So it takes away your power. However, the world is watching. Another major arcana card, and this is also cycles as well. Grand cycles, things coming to an end, endings and beginnings. So we can see here, yes, that Roe v. Wade has been ended effectively. However, what will be the new factors that come out of this? What will be the new ideas of consciousness? Maybe when Saturn goes retrograde, you know, the world is, you know, or people may gather to try and change these things. But, you know, it's not easy, particularly once it's the senior court, because this is the Supreme Court, which is what they were intending to do all along, which is why I've always had my reservations about Roe versus Wade, because they've been quite nakedly obvious about what it is that they wanted to do. So the idea that they would just give up on this, I always felt was far-fetched, and that unfortunately, because of the energies that we're in, because we're in the energies of the 1930s, of Pluto, power struggles, control, governments wanting to tell absolutely everyone what to do, we see this playing out, or high officials. But if we look here, the outcome card is the Queen of Wands. So we've got the Queen of Wands as the outcome card, but isn't it interesting? If we look, 3 out of the 4 cards have got women on them. Yeah. So if we look here, we've got the Queen of Swords, which was reversed. The World, which of course has a woman on it, and we've got the Queen of Wands. So you see, it's all about women. So the Queen of Wands, what's the Queen of Wands about? The Queen of Wands is about an enterprising woman. A woman who's able to socialize, not everyone can socialize, but this is the socialite in a way. This is the woman that will organize the gatherings, the parties, the discussion. She will hold court. Madame Pompadour, or Pompadour springs to mind, and she used to be married to the Sun King in France. I think it was Louis XVI. And she would organize all of the salons, all of the discussions. So here, this could be women maybe getting themselves organized to really kind of do some kind of collaborative effort to try and change this rather regressive decision. Let's not forget too as well that she's got her cat here, her familiar, which shows this is also a woman of intuition. But look, there's the sunflower for optimism. And you also see, look, the lion here, leadership. So we could have many senior figures, many senior women in leadership coming together to try and challenge this rather regressive decision. So that's what I can draw from that. Okay, now let's talk about Duck Laurange. And as you know, I've not been talking about him so much in recent times. You know, we're kind of hoping that this guy will kind of slowly fade away. But, you know, Duck Laurange, he has to have his limelight. Now, I don't know so much about this story, but what I understand is that the court case, or a jury has finally been convened to actually address this whole thing. When he called up, you know, Georgian was asking for the votes. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than just basically just covering yourself in blood and saying, I did it. Do you know, I don't know what else judiciary or lawmakers need to, you know, deal with this guy. You know, this is just ridiculous. But anyway, so so let's see what the cards have to say about Duck Laurange in Georgia. But first, before we do that, let's see what the Bard has to say. What does the Bard have to say? Little breeze coming here. What does the Bard have to say about Duck Laurange? What does the Bard have to say about Duck Laurange? Oh, let's go here. Oh, how interesting. I'm going to read both pages. Words are easy like the wind. Faithful friends, no, words are easy like the wind. Faithful friends are hard to find. And that's from the Passionate Pilgrim. Isn't that so true? Isn't that so true of Duck Laurange? Words are easy like the wind. Faithful friends are hard to find. Look at how many people he's basically done over, yeah, who associate with Duck Laurange. And then the other page here says, away, thou art poison to my blood. And that's from Cymbeline. I think in many ways that encapsulates so much of what Duck Laurange is about. No? So that's what the Bard has to say. Let's see how this, if the Georgia peeps are going to bring some accountability into this man's life. And a lot of people ask, why is he so lucky? Why is he so extraordinarily lucky? And the thing is this, there are certain stars in the sky that are immensely powerful. And when you have planets conjunct them or opposite them within a 3-degree orb, 3 degrees or less, they can give strong effects. So it is possible to be born under lucky stars. And with Duck Laurange, his sun is conjunct a star called Aldebaran, which is in Taurus. Yeah, Duck Laurange is actually a Taurus sun sign, not Gemini. Well, he's a Gemini in the west, but he's Taurus sun sign, which is, what's the shadow of Taurus? Materialism. Yeah, materialism. And you know, I mean, look, Taurus is a great sign, but it can be about only the best and blah, blah, blah. It can be excessive, yeah? The shadow of it can be excessive in regards to wealth, luxuries, money, etc. His sun is conjunct Aldebaran, which is a royal star. It gives a lot of luck and fortune in regards to finance. It just does. And then his ascendant, his rising sign, and his Mars are conjunct the star Regulus. Regulus is all about leaders, leadership, being powerful in the world, regardless if you feel good or bad. It's not a good or bad judgment. It just means leadership, yeah? You know, so if you think CEOs, entrepreneurs, you know, famous people, stars, you know, blah, blah, blah. Duck Laurange ticks all of those boxes. And that's very lucky as well because it's a royal star. The other royal star is Antares, which is in Scorpio. And oh my God, actually come to think of it, his moon is actually quite near to that. And then you have Fomalhaut. Fomalhaut is another royal star which is in Aquarius, around about 10 degrees of sidereal Aquarius. So just giving you that background. That's why this is Teflon Don, yeah? Teflon Don. Sometimes that's just how it is, folks. All right. Georgia. Spirit, what can you tell us about the outcome for Duck Laurange in Georgia before we focus on Putinshka? All right, Georgia. All right. What's the outcome here? What are the energies for Trump around Georgia? Oh man, the world. And I know it's difficult, people, and I know people don't want to hear this, but this is a lot of what these energies are about. We need to purge, yeah? That we need to purge. And again, Barani is, you know, get rid of, you know, this old stuff and birth something new, because we can see these old patriarchal ideas, they're not taking the world forward. Pardon me. All right, let's see. Oh. All right, this is very interesting. First card I get here, Two of Wands. Two of Wands. Yeah. So what the two's about? The two's are all about making decisions. Yeah. Wands is also action. So we can see here, if we look at this in regards to Trump, Dr. Laurange, he's weighing up his prospects. Yeah, he's looking at things, but nothing's set in stone. There is that energy as well of fire, so of energy, and it's almost like, what do I do here? What do I do here? And especially when we look at the second card. The second card here is the Two of Swords. So we see here, again, two cards that are about decision making. Wands and then Swords. Swords are intellect, Wands are passion, energy. So here, if we look here, this is cutting both ways. This is also the Georgia courts wanting to take action against Dr. Laurange for decisions he made during, after Jan 6th, all that kind of stuff in regards to the election. Yeah. So we can see lots of stuff here, ideas, decisions, choices to be made both by the courts and by Dr. Laurange, or reflection on decisions that have been made, especially when we look at the next card, Major Arcana, Justice. Couldn't make it up, could you? You couldn't make it up. We're talking about the courts, so you see how Spirit is tuned in, talking about the courts, and then the card I pull here is Justice, Lady Justice. So here, of course, Georgia wants to take action, wants to take action in regards to choices Dr. Laurange has made, and they want to try and bring this thing to justice. Dr. Laurange, of course, is going to want to move to what? Smoother waters, Six of Swords, but it could be challenging for him, this one, because remember, we've got the recording. It's not like it was ambiguous. Do you remember he called up, I only need 11,000 blah 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 such and such votes. Like I said, they say caught red-handed. I mean, this is literally just rolling in blood on this one. Yeah. If they can't find him guilty on this one, what's the point of even having the law? Yeah. So Dr. Laurange wants to go to smoother waters, but also in a way this court action will also induce that as well. Everyone wanting to go to smoother waters. But look at the outcome card. So could this be the one that forces Dr. Laurange to retreat, wounded from battle? You look here, this is retreat, wounding from battle and stuff like that. Or because he's such a lucky son of a you-know-what? Or is it the case, because this could also mean as well, what if he triumphs, yeah? And then for me, like I was saying, well, what's the point of the law? The law may as well go to bed, yeah? The law may as well go to bed, because this is open and shut. You don't have to be Hercule Poirot to work out what happened here. We've got him on the telephone. So in many ways, I see this as, if the right decision is made, this is also will show a bit of a defeat and a retreat for Donald Trump. But the way I also see this as well, if he gets away with this, what's the point of the law? The law itself will be like that. Yeah, I know that sounds extreme, but we need to see action now. Yeah, we need to see action. Aries is action. Bharani is consequences. Yama, punishment. What's happening? Well, the courts are punishing women over in regards to their reproductive systems. Yeah, not right. That's not the right energy. Likewise, Dr. Laurange cannot be allowed to get away with this. If he's allowed to get away with this, what's the point of the law? What's the point? What's the point of the Constitution or whatever? I don't want to get too dramatic, but you know what I mean? So because of this Pluto energy, because of this Pluto return, because of this Saturn being in his own signs, government, rules, regulations, pressures, we really are in very karmic times, and people who are in positions of power need to be making the correct choices. Yeah, the correct choices. It doesn't matter that Dr. Laurange is rich or any other rich or successful person. Everyone must be treated the same under the law. So let's hope the courts do the right thing, and then the Four of Swords is the outcome for Dr. Laurange. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the end for him, but that accountability, yeah, because he has broken the law and it's on tape. So if they're not going to prosecute him for that, then they may as well just not prosecute anyone. What's the point? Anyway, I don't want to be too fatalistic, but you follow my flavor here, yeah? All right, so let's talk about Putin, yeah? Putinshka. That piece of work. So here we are. I've got my notes here. So Putin potentially declaring war. And I remember I said Aries talks about what? War. The eclipses are happening there. Leaderships. So leaders of all around the world. So I put here, why now? So Aries is all about war, youth, and military. By formally declaring war, he can refresh his troops with young and fresh soldiers. Not necessarily everyone will know. Aries deals with youth, deals with the army in particular. Scorpio tends to deal with more kind of like navy, yeah, army at sea, because it's a water sign. Aries is a fire sign, so it deals with the young, youthfulness, energy. We know that his troops have been pretty much decimated. He's trying to consolidate. He's trying to pivot. He wants to have some kind of victory. He wants to be seen as the marshal, leader, but he desperately needs to replenish the troops, and he's got to keep the propaganda going. Yeah. So when it comes to this May 9th, if he formally declares, oh look, I've just seen a little gecko here. Wow. I've just seen a little lizard. A gecko running across the. Okay, that might be symbolic. Lizards. They can do a transformation. I'm wondering if I can no, it's too small for you to see and it's gone now. So interesting, because for me, he is a reptile. Yeah, there's certain people like Putin. For me, is a reptile, cold-blooded man. Yeah, and a little lizard that's just gone across there, a little green one. So, in regards to this, let's see here. What else is he doing? Remember, Putin is a Libra ascendant in I think the same in Western astrology, but in a different place, but he's a Libra ascendant. Now remember, the eclipses are happening in Aries and Libra. The full lunar eclipse will be happening in Libra, which means Putin's first house, between the 15th to the 16th of May. The eclipses are 2 weeks apart. You have your solar eclipse, then you have your lunar eclipse, or vice versa, a couple of weeks apart. So Putin is a Libra ascendant. The full, it's going to fall in May. Could this be a time to get rid of him? Now, why do I say that? Because he's going to be going for an operation, isn't he? Now, you will remember, this is probably a couple of months ago, but in fact, we were talking about this on Hadaigas, but I think we even spoke about this on Marie's table once upon a time, which is that we said Putin is not well. So we've been talking about this for at least a year. So it seems like he's got, I think it's Parkinson's and some, some kind of, it could be bowel cancer, something. And they're saying he's going to have to go in for an operation. Now, for those that are in such a position to influence these things, if you're going to go for it, if you're going to get rid of who, that's the time. So when someone's under anesthetic, maybe someone accidentally adds a little bit too much. We have to see. Not that I want to kind of call for that, you know what I mean? Even though I sort of am, but we're in a very tricky situation, and this guy can't be allowed to win, because if he wins, this is not good. This is not good. So let's see what. Let's pull, and then I'll see what Shakespeare has to say. All right. So I'm gonna pull these cards on his health. Yeah, we all know about the war. Whether he formally declares it, to people of the Ukraine, they've been at war with Russia now for years, it's at least since 2014, when he annexed Crimea. All right, Spirit. This operation he has coming up. What's the energy around him in regards to his health? Let's see, because this is quite important. I want to see what's going on here. Putinshka and his health. And if any of you guys want to see, have a look at my playlist as well, where I've done Putin and Zelensky and, other kind of things in regards to that topic. All right, let's see what the cards have to say. All right. Very interesting. This is so typical. This is very interesting, guys. Very interesting. Okay, remember the question was about his health. Yeah, if we look here, Page of Wands. Pages are all about messages. This can also deal with the youth as well, and study, education, the orator. Yeah. So here, one of these things in regards to Putin, the young people, for the young people, the game is up. Yeah. Most of them know that, you know, the war in Ukraine, etc., what's happening there and all that kind of stuff. But it also means messages as well. So could this be, because this is fire, and remember I said Aries is fire, but it's also youth. This is a young card, young fire card, messages. This could be Putin declaring war formally, yeah, to do his certain things. But this can also represent the youth of Russia and also the youth around the world, but maybe the youth of Russia as well, kind of like being like, whoa, yeah, all that stuff. When we look in the obstacle card, the world, surprise, surprise. So we've got the Page of Wands, Putin wanting to declare war, but this is also perhaps talking about the youth of Russia, maybe how they'll respond to it. Maybe there could be some more protests. But look, the world is in the obstacle position. So Putin declares war and the world is what? Against it. But this is also beginnings and endings and beginnings. Could this be where, you know, people really, really kind of make up their minds to make a move now and kind of try and bring this sort of thing to an end? Isn't it interesting, whenever I'm talking about Russia or you're seeing Hadaiga, what's that comes up? The Seven of Swords, trying to get away with something. This may as well be renamed the Russia card, yeah, because it just comes up so often. So Putin is potentially declaring war in defiance of the world to potentially get away with something. Yeah, he's also trying to save his own skin, and he's going to be telling lots of lies and propaganda. Why? Because he wants to project to the Russian people and to the world that he is the King of Swords, that he has his power, he's in control, that he's the leader, that he has everything all at his disposal. And if we look here as well, look, the lion is here as well, which is what? About leadership. So look here, the lion looks tame. So it's like Putin is trying to tame his audience at home to try and project his power. But look, the outcome card is the Magician. Isn't that interesting? So that's what, how many major arcana is that? That's 2 major arcana out of a 5-card spread. So we can see here, this is quite faithful here. So fateful. So Putin is trying to recharge himself, reinvent himself. He's, I think, going for this operation, obviously probably, you know, because he has to if he does go for it. And when he does, it's going to be for him to try and feel at the peak of his powers. He's at the height of his manipulations right now. Remember, the Shadow of the Magician is it's a great card, but in the context of talking with Putin and someone trying to get away with something, over here, we know it's definitely about what? Manipulation. He's going to be trying his absolute best to manipulate the situation to his advantage so that he can stay the king, to seem like, you know, the King of Wands, seem like the leader, but the world is his obstacle. When he mentions this message, when he gives this message about war or conflict, the youth in his own country could really, you know, this could be when people really start getting suspicious, yeah? When this special operation officially becomes war. Yeah, this could, there be that. He's trying to get away with these energies, but ultimately, I'm not we'll have to see how it's going to work for him. Will this operation maintain his powers on the throne? Or could it be that the enemy in the camp, remember this is also the enemy in the camp stealing something, yeah, stealing the power. Could it be that people who want to end this may try and steal that power from Putin at that point? We shall have to see. I hope you enjoyed that video. And of course, if you'd like a consultation with me, then feel free to visit thearchetypalblueprint.com. Everything in the description below. I should be able to do all of that, hopefully still off my phone. It's my laptop is not quite picking up the internet here. And I hope you enjoyed that video, and I just want to say a thank you as well to all the new subscribers and all the support, and everyone's loving the videos, etc. And until next time, the next video you probably see me in Rome. Okay, so all the best. Mwah! Much love. Cheers. Bye bye. Un momento. I forgot. What does Shakespeare have to say about Putin? Yeah, let's just flick here. What does Shakespeare have to say about Putin? Let's go here. Thou art wickedness. Thou art wickedness. From the 12th night. Look at that. On the other page it says, thou art a most notable coward, an infinite and endless liar, an hourly promise breaker, the owner of not one good quality. And that's from All's Well That Ends Well. So I'll say that again. Thou art wickedness, from 12th night. This is what the Bard has to say about Putin. And then on the next page, thou art most notable coward, an infinite and endless liar, an hourly promise breaker, the owner of not one good quality. And that's from All's Well That Ends Well. So let's hope this ends well, of course, for Ukraine. Anyway, going to leave that there. Thanks so much, guys.
1, 2, 3, 4.